tēnei hui, me te karakia, me noi tātou. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga. Kia mā kina ki uta, kia mā taratara ki tau. E hi ake ana te ataku, he tio, he uka, he hauhu, ti hei. Oh, mōrena, Councillor Pennant. All right, so we're going to go to apologies. So I have got one from Councillor Randall for partial absence, and I've got one from Mia Whānau for lateness, and do I have any other apologies? Cool. Nice. Councillor Freeze here. All right, who wants to second those apologies? Councillor Matthews, ka pai. Let's vote with our remotes. If you remember how to do that. I'm going to say that's carried. Cool. Awesome. All right. Conflict of interest declarations. I call on any members to declare any conflicts of interest they might have. None. Okay, great. Confirmation of minutes. I move the motion that the minutes from the meeting on 8th of June are accurate. Would anybody like to second? Councillor O'Neill. Sweet. Please vote. Okay, let's. Nobody is against that. So can I just say carried unanimously? I say it's carried unanimously. All right. There are no items not on the agenda, and we had no requests for public participations this week. So we're going to move on to the proposed land acquisition for Kai Wharawhara, and I'd like to introduce Sarah Jane to introduce the paper to us today. Kia ora.
Morning, councillors. Today we are proposing a land acquisition at 1 Kōrau Way, so approximately 98 square metres of land as part of the transitional cycleways project in Ngaio. So purchasing this land will provide a connection into Kai Wharawhara through the bridle track, and Jonathan can explain a little bit more.
Sure. Part of the the amount that was for the legal services was $20,000. The land purchase has come in at half the amount expected. So we're well under budget, and the budget will be coming from the transitional, from the Ngaio Transitional Cycleways project.
Thanks, Jonathan. Questions? Does anybody have any questions for officers on this paper today? Councillor Free.
This is just a technical question. I expect the answer to be reassuring, but does this committee have the delegations to actually approve land purchase? Because I had a vague memory it might have had to come to council, but correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you approve it to go through to council. It comes back to council, doesn't it, John?
Yes, that's correct. It's a council decision, but recommended by this committee.
So does it actually say that in the recommendations in front of us? Can we maybe make it just a bit more clear?
Nice. All right. Any other questions? Cool. I'm going to invite Councillor Matthews to move the paper.
Really just excited that we're getting these kind of, perfection, little bits to perfect the work that we've done. Want to thank the team. Just really excited to see this work rolling out across the city. We were having a conversation before this meeting about Cambridge and how popular and well used that cycleway is being. So we're just and as a local Naia resident, hearing the same things about the work that we've already done, and good to get this done, and thank the team for the work.
Great. And would anyone like to second? Councillor Free.
Yeah, I'd just really like to speak in favour of this. This is a really important connection at the moment. In the future we might be able to do something else, but right now this is an incredibly important connection. So anything we can do to legalise what needs to be legalised and to improve it, I'm totally in favour of, and it's great that it only cost us half what we thought it might. So thank you.
Great. Did anybody else want to? Awesome. So we don't need a right of reply? Great. So let's vote. Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks, Sarah Jane. But, there we go. Councillor Chung, if you just try again. Yeah, nice. That's unanimous. Thank you. Cool. Now we're going to move on to our second item, Frank Kids Playground Options, and I'd like to invite Phil up to the table to introduce the paper to us.
Morning, Chair and Councillors. Look, I'll take the Frank Kids Park Playground paper as to be read, but in doing so, just note that you agreed to a budget increase end of last year, and at the end of May this year, we advised you that we couldn't bring home that design within budget, so we were sent away to look at other options, and the options that we have landed with Liam Farrell's leadership and guidance has brought an option that I think that will be a great result for the area and for the children of Wellington.
Awesome, thank you. Who's got questions? Councillor McNulty.
Just for the benefit of public record, so the intention is to have a soft open in December and have this space available to Wellingtonians from around Christmas, and then another formal opening in February?
Yes, that's correct, yep.
And Councillor Free.
Yeah, my apologies, I wasn't at the briefing, but just to be clear, the budget of 3.5 million includes what's already been spent to date, or is this on top of the spend that's already been?
So the 3.5 budget is additional to what has already been spent.
And how much has already been spent? And my apologies for not knowing.
It's approximately 3.6 million.
So the total would be about 7.
Correct.
Any other questions? Councillor Wieneder.
Is that 3 odd million that we've already spent, are we going to retain a reasonable amount of value from that, or are we sort of cutting losses?
there will be some sunk and unrecoverable costs, but the bulk of it, and I haven't got an actual number for you, but the bulk of it is you will see the result of that in the playground, so which includes a lot of earthworks, drainage, and also importantly about $500,000 in actual play equipment that we own.
Are there any other questions for Phil? Great. I think we've been briefed really well on this, so thank you very much, Phil. So I'll hand it over to Councillor McNulty to move the paper.
Kia ora. This is probably the most exciting thing I've had the privilege of doing in the almost year that we've been here so far. Frankett's Park's obviously one of those treasures. I reached out to a few people to ask what Frankett's Park memories were defining, and for me it was falling off the slide as a child, necessitating this work in the first place, but that's why I ran. But no, for others, it was this an awkward first date after reading cinema and being able to make out at the top of the lighthouse slide. It's these types of things, though. It's such a quintessential part of Wellington. It doesn't matter what your age is. It doesn't matter where you come from. This space exists for everyone, and green open spaces are about one of the best things we can do. So I want to really thank Liam and Phil for the work that they've put together on this. We've done extremely well to come back with something that I'll accept we didn't quite get the ambition that we wanted over the line, and I will apologise to the AAG community that we haven't quite been able to meet the expectations of what we initially hoped, but we've still put something together here that is a fantastic playground. It's an objective improvement on what we've had before. The fact that we're going to have it here for summer this year is absolutely fantastic. We're opening up this space. I think from our waterfront briefing, it was about 20 million people that we estimated movements on that waterfront in the year. So if we're thinking about utilisation or where we get the most bang for our buck on a playground, this has got to be it, right? So pleasure to move it. Thank you to the officers for putting it through, and I look forward to this being a unanimous council decision to get going. Kia ora.
Kia ora. And Councillor O'Neill was seconding. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, just briefly to acknowledge the journey that we've been on with officers around this space. I know it was hard fought by the ex-councillor Jill Day, and this was something really important for her, so it's very fitting that another Northern Ward councillor would pick up that torch. This playground is delivering on open space. It is having accessible playground elements to it. It's still going to be a destination playground, and we're making it safer and more accessible. So I think an officer used the word jazzed up yesterday from the previous playground, and we're also making sure that it's going to be better lit at night and other things like that, which is reminiscent of it being a CBD destination park. Another element that was kind of pulled out is by way of it being really close to the Tūāpapa Lagoon, having a waka and a fishing net and native grasses that sway and move in the wind will be really awesome to tell a sense of place and story, especially when we've got not too far away other amazing elements like the Whalemalai, which is another story of place. Lastly, I'd like to thank Councillor McNulty for his attention in bringing the resolution before the break and working with officers Liam and Phil and a range of other team members to ensure we have a playground by December. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Deputy Mayor Foon.
Yeah. Kia ora. If the chair wouldn't mind if I read a few sentences from past Councillor Jill Day. Yeah. Kia ora, everybody. Yes, so I just want to also acknowledge Jill, who was really championing the playground last term, and we forwarded the papers out to her, and she did come back with this response, which I've just checked with her if she's okay that I read. So reading this paper was a pleasant surprise. Looks like a great plan that's been put together with the available budget, an elegant solution given the circumstances that have led to it. I'm very impressed with what the officers have managed to achieve, and also pleased that the commitment to work with mana whenua on this has continued. Also fantastic that the equipment that had already been procured can be utilised. It will be a lovely space for the tamariki in Wellington, and please pass on my thanks to Phil, Liam and team for the mahi done. So just really nice to, I know that Councillor Day carried this, so it's really good to see this coming to a resolve. Just on another topic, I do want to comment that I do have concerns about the use of the waterfront at that particular corner. There are a lot of bikes now with the increase in bike usage that is becoming quite heavily used, particularly morning and evening. So I think we really do need to be cognizant of the health and safety issues there for the kids and keep a really good eye out on that, and perhaps we need the lane and voice key for the cycleway. Kia ora, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Randall.
Yes, thank you. I too support this. I think this is a really good outcome. I do want to go back and reiterate that we're now delivering a quality playground within the budget that was originally put together, and I at the time challenged the increase that was required, and the officer said that no, we can't do it for 7 million. It's got to go more. Got to be more. Although the majority of the council decided to give more money, I also thank the officers for keeping engaged with us, letting us know how it was panning out, and it still wasn't coming together. And so in May, I moved a motion, and thanks to all around the council, you agreed to the motion that we should relook at this. We ask officers to relook at this, and they have had a good look at it. I'm sure this design has not been easy to come together because, they said it couldn't be done before, and compromises have probably happened behind the scenes, probably some hard words even. But that's what has to happen to get good outcomes within a budget, and we are in a budget situation. So I think this is a good example of the council working together and with officers. We're being challenged, and officers sometimes rejecting or accepting the challenge. And I want more of this around the council, and I'm very pleased with the quality of the outcome that we've got. Hopefully now we've got on budget. We're going to do it on time. Thanks.
Kia ora, Councillor Free.
Yes. I think that you've spoken very well there, Councillor Randall. I think we shouldn't forget that we started off a bit starry-eyed, probably thinking this would be about a $2.5 million project, but with very ambitious ideas. And I think it's a bit of a learning lesson, in fact, that you do need to do the research and be very realistic about what things are costing in the current environment. Nevertheless, there were some unexpected events as well, such as difficulties with contractors, which have added to the difficulties and cost. So I think all up, I'm really relieved that we've actually cut the cost back. I think we are in a situation where there's a huge number of things coming to us that we need to do for the city, and to have spent more than we're spending, I think would have looked really extravagant under the circumstances we're in. But nevertheless, I'm pleased that we're spending enough so that we'll get a good outcome, we'll get it delivered promptly, and we won't be leaving another unfinished project and a hole in the city where there should be something gorgeous. So I'm looking forward to it. I really like the aspiration to have it open by Christmas as a Christmas gift to the kids at Wellington.
Councillor Pannett.
Thank you, Chair. Look, just briefly, I'd like to reiterate the comments of my colleagues. I think the staff did a great job, really creative within a budget. In saying that, I think our children are worth it, and talking about extravagance in relation to children is possibly not where I come from. I think we need to give more to children. Just 2 points. One is that while I do like playgrounds, and children obviously do like them too, they are also a product of a car-centric city. Children should be able to play almost anywhere in a city. And if you've had the pleasure of growing up in a city space, you'll really understand what that means. Any equipment, infrastructural-wise, can be used for play. And the other thing is that, look, it's obviously scaled down. It's not the big destination playground, which we might still need. Maybe we need to expand at the Botanic Gardens. Maybe if the Whale proceeds, my amendment, which was to create another park in the CBD, will be a place where we can really do something great for kids. But look, it's a good outcome. It's going to get done. And so the officers just a huge applause for just getting things going. Kia ora.
Thank you, Councillor Chung.
Thanks very much. I'm supporting this. I'm still not absolutely comfortable with spending another $3.5 million, but as you know, when this vote came up on the 15th of December, I opposed it, putting $9 million into this because I think it's just a crazy amount of money to spend on a playground. But I've looked at the plans here, and I'm very pleased. I do believe that the compromises aren't particularly visible, and so that we are getting exactly what we wanted. It's a small patch of land, and I think that the spaces that we've got around the different play items that we have there are very, very good. It will be utilised a lot better than crowding it out with more objectives. So I do appreciate the work that the council officers have actually put into this, and I think that it shows that we can actually make savings in these projects. We don't have to look at the most expensive item. I've received a lot of comments about comparing it to the Margaret May playground in Christchurch. I went to have a look at that when I was down in Christchurch last week, and I think that that's a completely different sort of playground. And also note that that one cost actually over $40 million. And I spoke to Christchurch City Council officers about that, and they said that it was a huge amount of money and it had so many blowouts. So I was very cognizant of not allowing that to happen with this playground here. So very, very pleased with it. I'm glad that it's going ahead and glad that it's going to be finished by the end of the year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Calvert.
Well, all I can say is that if Wellington NZ can spend $500,000 marketing our own playground in Central Park to New Yorkers, then I think this park will certainly be a destination in its own right.
So that's the end of our lists. So I give it back to Councillor McNulty for the right of reply.
Cool. Thanks for your positive comments, everyone. Something I just thought I'd pull out from there from a few comments is that this design can also be added to in the future. So that's something really innovative that the officers have done as well. They've thought about that we may be able to get that flying fox and accessible tugboat play area back in over time. So we have left room for that to be open, which another council can look at. So that's something that I just think, again, they should be applauded by for that flexibility. Obviously, there's a lot of green space that's also been put into this. So just places for people to go on our waterfront and just be that don't cost or don't bring a price tag, which is really important. So let's get to voting and allowing more memories to be created for future generations of Wellingtonians in this space. Kia ora.
Thank you. So let's vote. And that's carried unanimously. Great. Thank you very much, Phil. All right, so now we've got actions tracking and forward program. I'm going to combine those, if that's all right, and I'll ask Siobhan Proctor to introduce.
All right, great pleasure to introduce actions tracking and forward program. Take these papers as read and happy to take any questions.
Any questions? No? All right, let's vote. Yeah, this term. Okay. All right, and and that's it. Okay, all right, everybody. Right, let's see the karakia. Unuhia, ki te urui, kia wātia, kia mama, te ngā, tinana, te wairu, I te ara takatū, koia rā e rongo, whakairia ake ki runga, kia wātia, kia ai rā, kua wātia. Thanks, everybody.